world. The weather outside is not that cold, and if you take my hand, I'll walk with you to Georgia.
Hello and welcome to Country with Celine. I am your host, Celine Shimarki, and Italy just won. That's why I'm representing my shirt. Go Italy, Forza Azzurri. Anyways, okay, so today we are talking to Canadian country singer Parker Graye. She knows how to pull at your heartstrings and has been making a name for herself over the past year.
And I'm watching it all fade into black when you say the things that you can't take back. You promised you'd change when I drew the line, that I'd be all yours and you'd be all mine. You told me, darling, last time was the last time.
Parker, how are you doing today?
Thank you so much for having me, Celine. You're so sweet. I'm doing fantastic. We're finally getting into this nice summer weather, and I'm like dying for the sunshine. So I'm fantastic.
I know, and you're located in BC right now?
Yeah, I'm in Vancouver.
Okay, so you guys have a heat wave going on over there.
We just got out of the worst of it. There was a couple days there where like all of the hotels in the Lower Mainland were sold out because nobody has AC here because it never really gets that hot.
Yeah.
And so everyone was retreating to hotels and there was nothing available at all. And I am very thankful we are outside of that for now, because holy moly, my house was like a greenhouse. It was so hot. So hot. And it's scary because like the forest fires and like there's just so much other negative things that come from that type of heat. And I know some folks love it, but no thank you.
No, it's like you like the heat, but it's like that humid, mucky hot where it's not fun, where you can't breathe. Like that's can't breathe.
The air was just so thick.
Yeah.
It just, oh God, it was gross. It was so gross. But I'm hoping we don't get too many more of those this summer.
Yeah, hopefully not, because like you said, they spark a lot of negative things too when you have heat, like that is going on right now. I hope everything is okay on your end down there in Vancouver.
Yeah, we're good right now.
That's good. That's good. Well, let's talk more on a brighter note. Let's talk about you. So you released your latest single last month called Last Time. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling so good. I was so afraid to release this song, and it means and meant so much to me. And when I was deciding to produce it or not, I was just afraid of putting something so raw out, something that was so personal. And when I was looking for a producer to produce it, it was like, I was just really afraid of putting it in the hands of anybody, because what I had heard in my head, like I wanted it to be exactly like that. And the story, it had to be about the story. And I really wanted to come across genuine and not turn into something that I wasn't hearing. And not being a producer, I have such a hard time articulating what it is that I want. And I met Spencer, and he just understood instantly. And I was like, okay, let's do this. Let's go into the studio. Because up until finding somebody, it was never the plan to release Last Time, but I'm so happy that I did. It's been so special.
You promised you'd change when I drew the line, that I'd be all yours and you'd be all mine.
Well, that's why we have producers. They know what they're doing.
Thank goodness.
Right? A majority of your songs are really vulnerable. So how emotional of a process is that for you to write a song and then let alone record it and release it?
Yeah. I think sometimes I find it to be so easy, like to just talk about what I'm feeling and articulate that. And then other times it's just so challenging because you're constantly reliving something you've experienced over and over and over again. And I'm just getting to the point now with Last Time where I'm finally able to disassociate ever so slightly. And I mean, sharing your story with the world is kind of weird. I never thought it would be something that I would really truly struggle with, or that I'd be insecure about, but I've definitely learned as the 3 singles have come out how to embrace that a little bit more and be less afraid. And I think people love honesty and love hearing somebody else feel the way that they do. And there's just something special about letting somebody into your world and letting them know like they can come out the other side of things, even if that's not truly the message of what's in the song. But it's been a hard process, and I still feel like I don't have a fully good grasp on it yet. I feel like, and then sometimes you hear people like come to you and they're like, oh my gosh, your song made me feel this, or like, I just went through that, and you're like, okay, it's all worth it. Like, it's touching people and it's making people feel some type of way. And that's the goal at the end of the day.
Is there one in particular person who like reached out to you about a song of yours and said, oh my gosh, this hit me so hard because it brought up a memory of so and so? Have you ever like had that?
Yeah, with Last Time in particular. And it's been strangers, which has been really cool. Like, people who I have no idea who they are in random parts of the world, who have been like, I just went through this, and I thought my partner was the person, and they lied to me and they cheated, and I don't even think that I can put this all back together again. And you're just like, whoa, like, you just shared something super intimate and super real to you. And I'm like honored that you want to share those details of your life, but it's also like, I'm so sorry that you've had to go through it, because you know how hard it hurts and how difficult it can be to get through it and get to the other side. And I almost like it more when it's strangers, because you're like, not that your friends are just gonna like blow smoke, but like, you kind of know your people and like, you know what your people have gone through. But when it's someone completely random, it's so cool. It's just also to feel like your music's reaching people at like great lengths, and that's also part of it, I guess.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, because once you release a song, that goes everywhere. And someone from, if you're in Canada, someone in the UK can be listening to it. Like, for this podcast, this is so off topic, but even for this podcast, people in like Sweden listen to it.
Well, this is just it.
Right?
Like, it's so cool. And it like, and I mean, this goes for anybody who creates anything, like be it a podcast or they write a book or they write music or whatever it is. And it's like, we're so lucky to be in this day and age where like you can put something on the internet and it literally can touch everyone in the world. And I often look at my stats on like Spotify and Apple Music and see where listeners are coming from. And I'll see like random places in like India and Germany and Australia and South Africa. And I'm like, this is wild. Like, I am just some small Canadian girl from like, originally from some small town in Ontario. Like, this is bananas. A friend of mine yesterday said to me, he was like, I had posted the Apple Music stats, and he was like, how does it make you feel to know that the population of your hometown, the equivalent of the population of your hometown, has listened to your song? And I was like, yeah, I've never thought of that. Like, it's so crazy once you put it into perspective like that. It's bananas.
That is nuts. I just got shivers. That's really
right. I read it and I was like, screenshot. Like, that's such an interesting moment. Like, it's so bananas.
But you're so grateful for it, right? Like,
oh my gosh. Like, every time I see even one person, because on the Spotify artist account, you can see people actively listening when they are listening. And it's kind of cool. Hi, Puppo.
Oh, did she just jump up? Oh my gosh.
Hi, friend.
I had half of it covered. Oh my gosh. Hi, Peach. Sorry.
No, I love it.
She's just
I'm such a dog person. I'm like, oh my gosh, hello. Hello.
She's been sitting down where my feet are, and I've been like petting her this whole time, and now she has the.
She's like, I want attention. But yeah, so Spotify artist account, it will spit out, like, it'll show you who's actively listening. And the other night I had just opened it up and it was like 9:15 in the evening, and 2 people were listening to Last Time. And I was like, 2 people. It might only be 2 people, but it's 2 people somewhere in the world who simultaneously are listening to one of my songs. That is so cool. Like, it's so weird. And I'm so grateful for anyone who like plays it and shares my music. And like, I guess people don't really get how important that is for us independent artists, that you're sharing the music and telling your friends and putting it on your Instagram stories and those things. And when I see stuff like that, I'm just like, ooh, like I just want to individually like send care packages to everyone who's listened and like give them all my love, because I don't know, I appreciate it so much, because without them and people like you, I wouldn't get to do what I do. So
you're so sweet. Yeah, when you put everything into perspective, a lot of people play a role in someone's success, realistically.
Totally.
And that's neat. I honestly didn't know that Apple Music, if you post on Apple Music, release songs on there, you can track who's listening to your songs at what time.
So on Spotify, the Spotify artist account, so like as artists, you have kind of a platform that shows your data and stuff.
Yeah.
The Spotify one will actively show you how many people are listening. You can't see from where, it'll just say like 2 people listening. But it's super cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. And now also, before we get to know you, I have one more question. So in your email to me, you were saying that 2 of your previous singles, so Do Over and Before You, were about a relationship of yours where you thought you kind of found the one and then that didn't work out and you kind of moved on. So there's a lot of people who are going through that and who have been through that. What's like the best advice that you could give to someone going through that and how they can cope with losing someone they thought was there forever?
Man, that's such a crazy question. So Before You Leave Last Time, or Do Over, Before You Leave and Last Time are all about the same guy. And I didn't ever plan it to be that way. And I think that for me, these songs truly helped me get through, and I'm so fortunate to have music to do that. But for those who don't just write songs, I think like really figuring out what you want, because often we put our own hopes and dreams of a relationship and what we deserve on the back burner because we just want to be loved so badly. And I think as humans, we want to be surrounded by love and companionship. And I know in that whole relationship, I abandoned myself in so many ways because I sacrificed my time and where I was going and who I was talking to in hopes that that relationship would work out. And at the end of the day, like if you're not good and you're not getting what you want and what you deserve and receiving the same amount of love that you're giving, obviously in relationships that ebbs and flows, but overall, if it's not equal, then you gotta look out for yourself. And I think looking back at what you really deserve and looking at the relationship and taking stock of what you did and did not receive and how that was going to impact you long term is so important. And it's a very realistic thing to do. And I learned that the hard way. And it wasn't until after we broke up that I had to really look at what the couple of years of that relationship was and be like, that wasn't serving me. Mm-hmm. And you have to stand in your strength and your own independence and be like, I deserve so much better than that. And you have to be your own cheerleader and remember that you're special and someone in this world is going to give you everything and more. And it's hard to see in those dark times, but you just have to believe and you have to give yourself the space and believe that you deserve that, because everybody does. Like, it's heartbreak sucks, but we can learn a lot from it as well.
Yeah, you can grow a lot from heartbreak. And totally. Like, I'm pretty sure that saying is love is blind or blind love. You know that saying?
Yeah. It's funny. We were actually talking about this in a session the other day, and I was like, I don't remember what the actual saying is.
Yeah, there's a saying there somewhere. We'll find it eventually.
We'll get there.
But it's true. It's really because you can be so in love with my dog just came back up again. You can be so in love with someone and you're not getting the same back to you. It's like 150 in and only 50 of them are in the relationship, and you won't notice that until
way later. And I think too, like, you just said something that triggered me. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, you're so right. And I know what it was. You can love somebody and they still not be right for you.
Yeah.
You can truly love somebody and they not be your person. And that took me a long time to remember. And yeah, it sucks, but it's so true though, that every time you date somebody else comes along and they're everything you thought you'd never find. And it just gets progressively better until you find the one. And I think that that's a pretty special thing too, that you can start a new beginning every time. So there is always sunlight after the dark, people.
Well, relationship advice from Parker Graye. Gotta love it here on Country with Celine. Now, Parker, let's get to know you. So you said you grew up in a small town in Ontario. What town was it?
So I'm from Orillia, Ontario, about an hour and a bit north of Toronto. I lived there until I was like 17, and then I moved to Alberta for a bit, and then I moved to it was in Medicine Hat, Alberta, and then I moved to Banff, and then I moved here. So, and then I've been here for like 11 years, which is bananas.
I heard Banff.
I ran for the West Coast to chase snow and compete in snowboarding and stuff, and it took me a bit to get back to music, but I'm super glad that I kind of found my home again.
Okay, wait, backtrack a little bit here. You were a competitor for snowboarding and skiing. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, so I used to, not like, I wasn't like Olympic or anything like that, but my goal was to always be like a sponsored rider and compete on like bigger stages and platforms. And I was kind of working my way toward that, but I had a pretty bad injury and I couldn't come back from it. And I think I always knew deep down, I was like, this isn't going to last forever. And I always really wanted to do music, and I just never knew what that would look like. And I mean, growing up, we didn't have shows like Songland, like even American and Canadian Idol was like still popping off, but it just like the trajectory to become like an artist or a songwriter was like you were looking at Shania Twain and like Celine Dion and Mariah Carey, and you're like, I don't know how that happens, and it just does. So it took me quite a long time to get back to just figure it out, kid. You just got to put the work in.
Well, clearly you were always meant to be in country music and be a singer, singer-songwriter ultimately. But that story reminds me a lot of Chad Brownlee. He was also a hockey player for the Vancouver Canucks, and then injury, and then he became a country singer, you know? So whatever is meant to happen will happen. Clearly, you were supposed to always be in this field, and so is Chad Brownlee, because you guys are both having success in the music scene.
Totally. Yeah. Hi, Chad. We love you.
Yeah, we honestly love him.
Yeah, I truly always believe in like, we all have our journey and we all have our path, and we all get there differently. And I constantly have to remind myself of that in the world that we live in, where, I mean, people are blowing up in all different places and in all different ways. And you really have to remind yourself on a daily basis, you're like, I'm doing my thing. I'm on my grind. I'm working towards it. Like, just run the path, like stay on the course, and just keep pushing away. And I love the process though. So I'm really trying to like, just like sit in it a little bit deeper, and I'm enjoying it, which is cool.
Now, was music something that you were always surrounded by growing up? Or what made you want to pursue the music career?
I was obsessed with it. I was obsessed with like listening to music and like listening to lyrics and memorizing songs. And I was a dancer for a while, and I like loved the process of selecting songs and choreography and that stuff. And my parents were not musically inclined at all, and still are not. I shouldn't say weren't, but my aunt really was, and her kids were all in like piano and guitar, and they did all these things, and she always pushed me to sing. And she would always be singing, and I spent a lot of time at her farm, and she would sing with me and encourage me to like go do these things and like do Canadian Idol and do this and do that. And she was probably like the reason I've pushed so hard. And something super special happened, and I was rewriting my bio for the release of Last Time, and I had mentioned in the bio about my aunt and how she kind of like brought me to where I am, and she passed away when I was in high school. And I was like, when did she die? Like, I don't remember when she passed. And I looked up the obituary, and it was June 17th. And I was like, I'm releasing Last Time at 11:59, June 17th, technically the 18th. And I was like, if this is not a sign from the universe,
oh my God,
I don't know what is. And it was just so telling for me that like, she's like, if you believe in anything in this world, and you believe in someone being like looking over you and watching over you, like, I was like, man, she's there. And she's always kind of been the one to push me. And my parents didn't really start understanding the whole music thing probably until like the last year where like I started releasing more music and like doing things and like doing things like this, and they're like, oh, you're like kind of doing it. Like they're still sort of wrapping their head around it. But no, I never had anybody really that like taught me music from when I was a kid. And I had a vocal teacher when I was like an insy bitsy teeny weeny kid, and it was like glorified babysitting. So like I didn't have anything, but it was always like in my heart of hearts and in my gut that I really wanted to do music. And I think that's also why it was like so hard to kind of find my way, because I just didn't have any clear direction from anybody growing up on it.
Well, I really believe in this. Sometimes when I really think about it, whatever you like desire so much in like your lifetime here, like whatever drives you and like what you're so passionate about. So for you, it's singing. Who knows in your past life if like maybe you were like a Dolly Parton in your past life, like you don't know, but there's always a reason why you're so passionate about something. And like you weren't even, your parents didn't even like, they weren't even involved in music. It's just something that you had in you. I'm sorry I'm using my hands so much, it's the Italian.
No, it's fine, I do it all the time.
But yeah, you have it in you. And I truly believe that you never know what was your past life, right?
Oh, we could talk hours about that, because I love that so much. And you just like, yeah, there's just so much to unpack there. And I think you're so right that like, you just don't know where you came from. And we all have a purpose on this earth. And for some of us, we find it very early on in life. Like I remember being in high school and my friends being like, I'm going to be a doctor and I'm going to be a teacher and I'm going to be a nurse. And they like just knew. And I was like, yeah, I know, but like, it's a really crazy outlandish idea, because who's going to make it as an artist? But I'm so fortunate to be on my path and getting to kind of live out my dreams, which is super special and makes me like, woo.
I can completely agree with you on that one. I feel the exact same way. Like in high school, everyone knew what they wanted to do. And it's like me, the odd one out, saying, oh, I want to be on TV, And
right?
How are you going to do that? Like, I don't know, I'll figure it out, but then you do. Every day is just a different challenge, and you figure it out as you go. If you're meant to do something, everything will align. The universe will align everything for you, and you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Oh, we could talk for this.
Oh, girl, we can talk whenever you want.
We need to dedicate like an episode where we just chat about.
I love this.
Leaving, right? And now, Parker, okay, so going back to music, who were your influences? Who did you listen to?
Growing up or
growing up.
A lot of Shania Twain, a lot of Celine Dion. Me and Celine were like, girl. I loved pop music. So I was in that whole world with like everything from literally like Blink-182 to Celine Dion to Dolly Parton to Shania Twain. Like I was across everything. My mom always had country music on in the car, and my dad always had like the alternative station. Yeah. And I never had one artist that I was obsessed with, although like I sang those Celine Dion records over and over and over again, and my parents probably wanted to kill me. But those were the folks that I probably grew up on and like sort of fell in love with. And then now it's like, it's the same thing. It's like through folk and pop and country and a little bit of hip hop. Like I try to pull inspirations from all different areas, and whether that be lyrically or melodically or sonically, like I try to find different things to kind of bring in kind of who I am and not just stick to like traditional, like in the box country. And I think that's kind of what makes what I'm doing a little bit unique too. So,
well, country music is really evolving. It is not the country music that you used to listen to back in like the 70s or like 80s. It's really changed, and no one's complaining that it's changing. It's time for it to evolve, and more people have been listening to it, because now we're testing the country pop, but even you have like the country rap. Like I've heard some artists like a rapping a song, but it's like with banjos in it. I'm like, this is lit. Like this is really lit. It's really like evolving, and it's getting into different genres and merging like so many, and it's really cool to hear. It really is.
Yeah, I love it. And I mean, some of it might not be my cup of tea that day, but like there's elements of it that I love, and then I think like watching people get super creative in country is super interesting to me. And I think as long as my songs tell a story and as long as they have that old school country story, I feel like I'm doing exactly what I should be doing, regardless of what's going on sonically. But I'm still like wanting to write sad songs, which is kind of old school country, I guess. But
Oh,
yeah.
yes. I was also reading that you're the type of girl that wants to make country sad again.
Yeah, I'm on a mission to make country music sad again. And I coined a new one recently called Saddies for the Baddies.
I love it. I love that.
So I feel like I need to start making some merch because these things are unreal. But I love sad songs. And one of the things that I think is interesting about heartbreak in sad songs is they have this ability to like open up the metal filing cabinet in the back of your brain that's dusty that you forgot about, and it just like pulls out this folder and like puts it on the table and automatically puts you back into a place and a time that you thought you forgot about. And as hard and it is to like relive those moments, I think like going back to our conversation earlier, it's like you learn so much, and I think we get so much growth from those times that it's like awful and it sucks to feel poopy and like reliving heartbreak, but look at where you are now. And I think that those like sad songs not only make you feel like ugh, like that hurt my heart, but it's just a reminder of how far you've come at the same time. And I just love sad songs. I love those moments that just hurt. Like there's something about that for me that those are the kind of songs I want to write, and those are the moments that I chase in songwriting sessions where I'm like, it doesn't hurt enough, it needs to hurt more. And it's so awful, but I don't know, there's something to it.
That's what it means to be human. You have emotion. It's just you're sad one day, you're happy one day. You can be in the happiest relationship, but then hear a song that you haven't heard in so long, and it brought you back to the time when you used to be with so-and-so, and you could sit there for the 3 minutes, bawl your eyes out, but then right after the 3 minutes is done, you sit and you actually start to process everything, and you think about it all, and you realize, wow, you know what? I've really grown from that situation. Like you were saying, I'm so much more happier now. And it's just, honestly, country music itself, the songwriting portion of that, the storytelling of that is just unbelievable. And it's so touching. And your songs, to get that personal and vulnerable, it's even more touching for people to listen to that because they can actually connect to it so much more.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, that's always been my mission. And I really just want to be vulnerable and genuine and connect with people on a different level. And hopefully my songs are doing that. So.
But they are. Don't worry about it. Now, Parker, before I let you go, we're going to play a little game I like to call Country with Celine, a rapid fire. I'm going to shoot you out a couple of questions, answer them, and then we'll go from there. Okay?
Okay.
The first one, Starbucks or Tim Hortons?
Starbucks. Nah, neither, but Starbucks.
Starbucks? Okay. Your favorite place to travel in the States? Like, what state would you?
Nashville! Let's go, baby!
I think we're gonna go together. You and me.
We're going.
We're gonna go.
You, me, and Bobby. We've been talking about this. I'm like, we need to pack our bags. We all need to go together.
You know how much fun we would have?
Oh, someone would not come out alive.
Oh my gosh. Okay, your favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Okay.
That was hard.
Christmas is the best holiday.
Best. I love it.
Your favorite sport?
CrossFit.
Okay. I can see that. How about your favorite color?
Black.
Black? Ooh,
yeah.
Dark. Heartbreaker. Dark. I see it there, Parker. Another one. Let's think. What's another one we're gonna ask? What is your most embarrassing moment?
Oh boy. I'm so fortunate these things haven't really happened to me. One time I was dating this guy, and this is so bad.
Oh, I want to hear it.
I was dating this guy, and I farted really bad in the middle of the night. But to the point where I woke us both up.
Oh my God.
So there you go.
But You know, haven't you ever like farted in your sleep and it woke you up? Like it just woke you up? It has happened. Like it happens. Like
Yeah, it's sick. It's disgusting. But we're humans. And this is why I told that story. Because we're humans, people. We're pretty girls, but still humans. Things happen out here, folks.
Yes. I mean, my boyfriend, the first time I ever like let one go in front of him, he was so disgusted. I'm like, relax. What do you think I do when
we know the things you do? We know the things that you do.
You go to the washroom, so do I. Like, hello, we're human. My gosh.
I don't have a lot of embarrassing stories somehow. I think I stay out of those situations, but that was one where I was like mortified.
I like it though. Was he okay? Was he like fine with it after? Did he like?
Oh yeah. He was like a good sport, but yeah, I felt so bad. I was like, oh my God.
Okay, it's all good. Okay, two more. What would be your favorite festival to ever play at?
I really want to play Boots and Hearts. I mean, like that's in my home. That's in my stomping grounds. Like I think it would feel like a hometown show. I would love to play Boots.
Yes. Oh, I want to be there when you play Boots because you put it onto the universe and it's gonna happen.
Yep, we're doing it.
And the last one, I want to ask this: Blake Shelton or Luke Bryan?
Oh boy,
It's a hard one, eh?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Blake Shelton.
Okay.
There's something about him that that I can't say that because that's gonna sound weird, but I get just like really good like mentor vibes from him, and like I feel like if I met Blake, we would just be like so tight, and I feel like I would like learn so much from him. So like even just like I think it's probably because the voice, like obviously, but I don't know. I just get he has like this soothing vibe about him, like it's just like good, and I'm so anxious all the time, and I'm like buzzing at like 150, and I feel like he would just like zen me out.
I can see that. I feel like Luke Bryan would be the buzzing type of guy. Like
yes,
more like you. Like we've seen him from American Idol, like here to there to there to there, like you know.
Yeah, that's too. It's too much for me. I think I need someone to like zen me out.
I probably will never calm you down. I'll always hype you up, and I will get you going.
Thank you.
I can't calm myself either.
I'll be out hyping you up too. Don't you worry. I'm all for my fellow lady.
Oh my gosh, you're so sweet, Parker. This was a blast. I love chatting with you. You know, I think we need to get you on an episode of Country with Celine, the concert series, where you can sing songs one night and we just chat for about 40 minutes and we just talk to a bunch of fans.
I would love to. Let's do it.
I think we got to do it. Now, everybody, go stream Last Time. It is out now. Parker, thank you again for joining me today on Country with Celine.
Thank you so much for having me. This is an absolute blessing. Like, if I say this to everybody I work with, and if you didn't do what you do, we as indie artists wouldn't have our music getting further and further. And it's really a blessing that you take your time and created this platform and are so passionate about sharing our music. So thank you for doing what you do. So
my heart's already gonna explode because of Italy, and now you topped me off with that. Really?
Oh, girl!
But thanks, Parker.
Thank you.